What's up? This may possibly be the last time you see me using this area. So yeah, I'm gonna make the best of it right now. Anyway, the reason why I'm making this video for right now is because I came upon this realization that a lot of people, we all have to learn new things pretty much. It's like, you know, whether you're afraid of change or not, changes come, changes go. And sometimes it could be challenging, it could be easy, or it can be hard. However, that should not negate the fact that you should be thankful for those that helped you along the way. You know, those that motivated you, inspired you, those that pretty much helped train you, or even the most littlest thing, or you see inspiration. So, right now, well, not exactly right now, but for me, it's like I'm currently entering a change, but it's more like something that I actually want to do, that I actually have a hand in. And that is, I want to learn to ride a motorcycle. Yeah, I actually want to do that. I've been wanting to do that for a long time, since I was little. But the thing is that right now, you know, I'm doing all the procedures. I already took my written test and I aced that bad boy. I mean, in a way, I kind of had a little experience riding a motorcycle, but not 100% full on motorcycle riding. It's more like, you know, one of my past jobs, I used to work at a car dealership. And at this car dealership, there were mechanics. And some of the mechanics, you know, they drive and, you know, they fix cars and stuff. And there are some that actually know how to ride a motorcycle. Now, I, myself, was working in the detail section, where pretty much our job is to make sure the cars look good. Give it that showroom look. And if there was anything wrong, or, you know, like scratch or anything, we take care of it. So that's how it was. And because of that, every now and then the mechanics will ask us, hey, can you help, you know, either clean our car or make it look a lot nicer, or, you know, make it look like it's still brand new, you know, when it comes to cars. But this one specific mechanic, he would be like, yo, can you hook me up with my motorcycle? Now, I don't want to say his name because I never got his permission, but I will put his name start with an E. And I'm just going to call him E for probably, but E came over and he was like, yeah, can you make my motorcycle look cool? And my response was, yeah, sure. Just bring it over here, because at the time, I don't know how to drive those things. He brought it over, and, you know, I would hook him up, make the motorcycle look like it's still brand spanking new, everything, and he would be like, all right, yeah, thanks. You know, sometimes the mechanics, they'll be cool enough to either pay for your lunch, or they'll bring you pizza, or they'll tip you, give you money, or, you know, just all around, it's like forming a friendship, a bond. So I've been helping E out for a couple of times, and then one day he goes, can you do me a favor? And I was like, yeah, sure. He handed me his motorcycle keys, and he goes, yeah, can you move my bike? Because I need, they're not letting me use the space that I normally use, because a customer need their car checked, but they need that space. And I was like, I don't know how to ride. Sorry, that's why I always had you come over and bring it. And he goes, oh, well, come on, I'll teach you. And I was like, okay, yeah, whatever. And it literally was like, I want to say maybe 8 or 10 minutes of his time just going over the basic, teaching me things, and I knew, next thing you know, I was able to functionally ride this motorcycle. But, of course, obviously, you know, economy happened, layoffs happened, you know, I was no longer there, and I think E ended up being transferred or left and ended up working somewhere else. So it's like, yeah, but anyway, like I said, ever since I was a kid, though, I've always been interested in motorcycles. Because I used to have a bike, obviously made by Huffy, but it was not like any ordinary bike. I mean, it was red with white wheels, like the whole wheels were all white. And it has some black onto it. I don't have it now, but I used to ride the crap out of it. And one of the things I used to do was, as I'm riding it, I would envision myself, enjoying the moment, the freedom. Of course, I'm riding with my friends or I'm riding by myself. I would always, go on little adventures and things. So that bike, to me, offered like freedom. I was like carefree, open world. It was awesome. And remember, I'm a kid. I remember I was at this corner and I had to stop because, there was traffic. The light were green to the traffic I wanted to cross the street at. So it was green, so I had to wait. And I remember this guy pulls up, on parallel to me, and he was riding a motorcycle. Now, I'm a kid. I didn't know what type of bike it was. But I'm just going to say it's a Harley Davidson because now that I'm thinking, as an adult now, it was a cruiser, definitely. I just don't know what type of cruiser. So I'm just going to call it a Harley Davidson because at the time I was a little kid. When I thought of motorcycles, Harley Davidson. That was the only brand I knew of. I wasn't familiar with, any other brand. So he rode up, and I remember I looked over to my left, and he looked, and he was like, vroom, vroom. Nice bike. I like the colors. And me, I'm just sitting there like, ching, ching. Thanks. But but for me, it was like, dude, I looked at that like as if he was saying, yo, you're cool. So for me, as a little kid, I'm all pumped up. I'm like, yeah. So ever since then, I would envision my bicycle as this, this cream of the crop type deal, like it was my bike, whatever. And whenever I ride on it, I would think, wow, I would envision myself like I'm riding a motorcycle. Now I know I should have started with that story, but the thing is, I just feel like I don't know who that guy was. He was a complete stranger. But he inspired me, and with the imagination of being on a motorcycle. My old job, when I used to work at that car dealership, he motivated me by teaching me about motorcycle. Well, a little bit, it was only like a short time, and like I said, when the economy went down, layoffs happened, and I haven't touched a bike since. So now it's like I actually want to do it. I miss that nostalgia feeling I had with my little, my bicycle. So I want to reunite that feeling. And being on E's motorcycle, which by the way, I believe it was it was definitely a cruiser, but I want to say, from the body layout, it might have been a Patriot or a Phantom, whichever one it was, I don't remember. But all I remember was the feeling it gave me. I mean, it wasn't like I rode on it long or far. I just took it from the parking spot and rode it literally like down the street, which was like a couple houses down, and parked it for him. That was it. It wasn't like anything dramatic or anything like extreme. I didn't go like, speed limit or higher than that. It was literally like, you see me literally, like I could have walked the bike, but because I had to hurry up, be at work, I just, but all in all, now I'm not going to take away anybody here on YouTube that also inspired me and motivated me into taking on this task, into adopting this lifestyle that I want to have for myself. Yes, I will admit I am new to this, but that doesn't mean it's a bad thing. Now, people like Baker X Derek, when I was just bullshitting around on YouTube, and I just looked up something about motorcycles, and next thing you know, bam, Baker X Derek was the first video thing that showed up from these long listings. So I was like, okay. So I clicked to play, and all of a sudden I heard Me Gusta. And instantly I was hooked. So Baker X Derek, with all those tutorials, those advice, tips, and everything about motorcycle riding, I thank you. Another person I want to thank would be Knight Rider. Now, throughout this whole span when I was researching this motorcycle, trying to adopt this lifestyle, a lot of videos, a lot of people kept saying, dude, if you're going to enter this world of motorcycle riding, or you're new to this, you got to start on a 250 or a 300. And because I am new, well, I was new, well, still am, I'm just now taking a step, but anyway, because I'm trying to gain this knowledge, I literally started buying into, or started believing that, you know what, if more than 5 videos of different people, obviously you can tell they live in different areas, are all saying the same thing, then it must be true. Until Knight Rider made that video where he was like, stop being stupid. It's like he basically broke it down to, look, you don't need to start on a 250 or a 300. And the way he looked at it, he was like, look at me. I am riding on a Hayabusa. And believe it or not, this bike is where I started at. And he started giving tips. He gave good advice and everything, to the point where it's like, duh, common sense. Every motorcycle, whether it's going to be your first motorcycle or your brand new one, your brand new toy or whatever, you have to learn how to control and handle it, right? So, yeah, it's kind of like a starter. Now, because of Knight Rider, I also started looking things like, you know, when you go to motorcycle classes, don't you already start on a 250 or a 300 for your motorcycle learning experience? So, if you already started those motorcycles and you passed it, why still get, you know, spend money on those 250 and 300 when you already had the, you know, gain some sort of knowledge? Maybe it's not that in depth, but some sort of knowledge where it can propel you and help you move forward onto getting whatever motorcycle you search for. Like I said, I would not have thought of that if it wasn't for Knight Rider making that video, because he was literally just saying, okay, think of it this way. You're saving up all this money to get a motorcycle. Why buy a 250 and 300 when you're going to get bored with it in a couple weeks, or in a few days, or like in a month? Now, I'm speaking for me, but one of my pet peeves is I hate feeling like I wasted money. So instantly I already knew if I were to get a 250 or a 300 and I get the feeling like, I'm going to be pissed, because I'm not rich, I'm not wealthy. I bust my ass to make the money I have. So if I'm going to spend it, I'm going to spend it on something I know I will value and enjoy. If I can't value and enjoy a 250 or a 300, then I'm going to tell you exactly what's going to happen, because I know myself. I'm not going to ride it as much, and next thing you know, I'm going to be like, well, that was a waste, and probably try to sell the bike and never ride again. Like, the first couple of experiences, I'll be like, yeah, this is awesome. But then after a while, I mean, like, well, that happened. You know, that's pretty much me. Now, of course, there is maybe a probability that maybe I'll be like, I should have bought a different bike. And next thing you know, I gotta start over, re-saving money, try to sell the bike, get some form of money back or value back, or use it to trade in for another bike or whatever. But the thing is, there is a guy I actually met, and he said he'd been trying to sell his starter bike for years. Nobody purchased it, because everybody seemed to keep buying, like, you know, the bikes they want to buy. Like, nobody wanted to buy starter bikes no more. And I don't want to be that guy where it's like, I got this 250 or 300. for, you know, and I'm not riding it for dirt as long. You know what I mean? It's like, I just don't like the feeling of wasting money. So because of that, once I pass my class and everything, and I'm currently am saving up to get a bike, but I'm still on the fence of what type of bike I'm interested in. I mean, right now my mindset seems like I'm interested in the Triumph Speed Triple R or the FZ10, but the thing is, I have not ridden any of those bikes, and I haven't tried riding all these other different brand bikes. So I want to find out what type of rider I am by test driving everything. You know, I want to find that one where I could be like, you know what? Yes, I found one that connects with me. You know? Oh, and so pretty much to sum it up, Knight Rider, I thank you. Thank you. And there was another video I seen after his where it looked like there was a motorcycle dealer shop, and the one guy even said, don't fall into that mindset because it's stupid. Get a bike that you want and start learning from there, because that way you can appreciate the motorcycle for more years to come, because that's the bike that helped you hone down its skill for your level. And that's true if you really think about it. Every bike, whether it's new or whatever, you have to learn how to adjust to its power. You have to learn how to control it instead of taming it. So, yeah, makes sense, doesn't it? But, and there's a plethora of people, but I don't want to make this video too long. So, pretty much all I'm trying to say is, and I also want to thank Huffy for making that bike, because that bike was my adventure. So, because to me that was a starter bike for me to launch myself into getting into the world of motorcycle riding. So, with that said, hope you guys have a good one. Hopefully this video motivates you guys to be grateful and thankful for those that helped along the way. Oh, before I forget, Snooze, he did an excellent like training, like learning how to ride a motorcycle video, which again, Snooze, thank you. Now, there's also Husky Harris, or I mean not Husky Harris, crap. You know what? All the people that inspired me or motivated me or sort of had a helping hand, I'm going to put their videos and link on the bottom so that way you guys can see. But like I said, there's way too many for me to name. I'm already starting to butcher and forget who's who, whatever. So, thank you. Hope you guys enjoy. Later.